Ooh. Ooh. I was just reading my Chinese poetry book. As you can guess, that will be the subject of today's lesson. We're going to take a deeper dive into the poetry that the Chinese wrote during the Middle Ages. As you've learned already, that during the Tang and Song dynasty, poetry was thriving. Poetry was very important to the people during that time. And so let's take a deeper dive, look at some poetry, listen to some poetry as they read it. So let's put on our sleuth hats and take a deeper dive into the poetry of the Chinese people during the Middle Ages. Well, hello there. I'm here to talk to you about poetry. Wait a minute. I'll be right back. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above, how does it go? Goose, goose, goose. You bend your neck towards the sky and rise. No. You bend your neck towards the sky and sing. Sing, that's better. You bend your neck towards the sky and sing. Your white feathers float on the emerald water. Your red feet push the clear water. No, not water. Waves. Your red feet push the red, no, not red. Your red feet push the clear waves. There we go. That's better. Poetry. The lost art of self-expression, boundless in the Tang and Song dynasties, now lay silent as we today find a simpler way of self-expression. To express themselves, they used their words. They looked at simple things around them, at nature, at people. Moonlight reflects off the front of my bed. Could it actually be the frost on the ground? I look up to view the bright moon and look down to reminisce about my hometown. Farmers, weeding at noon. Sweet down the field soon. Who knows food on a tray? Thanks to their toiling today. I wake up with the sun high. Birds chirp everywhere in the sky. Last night a rainstorm passed by. Flowers must have fallen down. Lighting the beanstalk to boil the beans, and off the vine the boyns thus wail. Born we are of the same root. Should you now burn me with such disregard? Chinese history, full of poetry. A lot of that poetry spoke of daily toils. The sun in the sky, the water, life, love, grass, simple things. It was the golden age of poetry during the Tang and Song dynasties. Of course, you know that because you learned that last week when you were comparing the two, right? At least I hope so. You know something? Our country has lost its flair for poetry in the last 200 years. Oh, we had some good poets, but They have ceased to exist today. They have weeded out, faded with history, gone, no longer to be found. Poetry's emphasis, the emphasis on life and expression. I take that back. It's not that there aren't poets. We don't appreciate poetry as a culture like they did. It wasn't important. It's not important. I say we bring it back. Let's revive poetry. Let's bring it back. Let's write poetry. Let's read poetry. Let's eat and sleep poetry. Well, I'm not sure how we're going to eat poetry, but you know what I mean, right? It was so important to the Chinese people. So important that if you wanted to be anybody, an official, exams, school, you had to know poetry. Poetry is so important that children learned it at a young age. In fact, what I just read to you, those were all poems that memorized by children of all ages as they grew up, just like you probably have heard this one. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Or how about the ABCs? Or how about Mary had a little lamb she had, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Actually, I think I messed that one up. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, her sheep were sure to go. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rules. Anyway, you get the picture. Those are all poems that we learned as young children. We don't think of them as much, but they helped us in our development of language, just as these poems that I read to you helped Chinese students. Poetry played such a part, huge part, in the people's lives. It seems like this is a lot of light, but I don't think it really is. Why is the top showing? Overnight at the White Sand Post Station. Another night on the water, last light. Cook smoke, thatched post station, here beyond the lake, against ancient white sand. Fresh green reed, 10,000 forms of spring chi. Among all this, my lone raft is another wandering star, carried by waves, moon's light limitless, I shade into placid southern darkness. Spring landscape, the country in ruins, rivers and mountains continue, the cities grown lush with spring. Blossoms scatter, tears from us, and all these separations in a bird's cry startled the heart. Beacon fires 3 months ablaze by now, a simple letter's worth 10,000 in gold, and worries thinned my hair into such white confusion. I can't even keep this hairpin in. Wu-tung trees spread above the well, yellow and crickets hide under beds. Absence keeps deepening in presence. No more false presence, no more false promise in the season. Hushed winds, stars leaving, fluttering, then blown rain clatters on the roof's tiles. The ear hears, but mind is itself silent. Who's left now? All thoughts forgotten. Lamenting this hair of mine, I sit alone in empty rooms. The second watch close. Mountain fruit falls out of there in the rain, and here in the lamplight, field crickets sing. No one's ever changed white hair back. Might as well try conjuring yellow gold. If you want to elude the old age disease, there's only one way. Study unborn life. Cloud. I see a cloud at day's end and just can't look away. It has no mind at all, no mind and surely no talent. A sad flake of bright jade, radiant with color, drifting 10,000 miles of clear sky. Nowhere it begins. Autumn landscape at Chang'an. On a tower beyond frost-filled forests, I gaze into a flawless mirror of sky. South Mountain and its autumn color, chai form breathed into such heights. Sent to a master on the way in the utter peak mountains. In my office library, the morning cold, I suddenly think of a mountain guest, searching creeks for brambling kindling and returning to cook white stone soup. I long to bring you a gourd full of wine, soften endless nights of wind and rain. But fallen leaves fill empty mountains. All trace of your coming and going is gone. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. Well, I guess you heard some samples of Chinese poetry? Hopefully you get an opportunity to read some more, because that was interesting. Anyway, don't forget, keep your distance 6 feet, unless you're from up north, 2 meters. And don't forget the mask. Wash your hands. And we'll see you next time. I seriously don't know what that was.